So we've got one that's checking out somebody, and then one that is, will be here in just a minute. Had some fire troubles getting here apparently.
Do you want to go ahead and get started? We're recording this, so anything anybody misses, we'll upload it to YouTube, and you can send them a YouTube link so that they can make sure they don't miss anything.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So I just wanted to introduce the Fresh Access Bucks program. I'm sure Lisa has done a great job letting you know a little bit about us. But we're a program of Feeding Florida, which is the network of food banks for the state. Y'all have the Harry Chapin Food Bank, which is one of our network food banks locally. But we are a program that's funded through the USDA to double SNAP benefits for fresh fruits and vegetables in order to increase healthy food access for SNAP recipients. Katie, do you want to say anything else about FAB?
Unless you all have any other questions about it, I will say that we have about 55, 56 farmers markets that have been part of our program for some time, all across the states. But and so they operate the program a little bit differently. But this will be our first foray into the retail program.
And we're all really excited.
Yay!
You guys the actual program itself?
And yeah, and just a couple sentences on how the program's going to work. SNAP customers who shop at Sunflower Discount, for the money that they spend in SNAP, they'll be matched 1-for-1 up to $10 in Fresh Access Bucks vouchers, which I think Lisa has a copy of. They can then spend those Fresh Access Bucks vouchers for fresh fruits and vegetables the next time they come through the register. And we'll go through what that looks like in some transaction examples and answer any questions at the end.
And if y'all have any questions at all while we're going through this, please don't hesitate to just jump in and ask them.
All right.
Lisa, do you have the tracking form? I wanted to go over the kind of beginning and end of shift stuff first. Great. So yeah, so if y'all want to just take a look at that, the way that the distribution of the Fresh Access Bucks is going to work is through pads of $1 and $5 vouchers. And in order for us to know how many are going out into the world, we're going to be tracking the serial numbers on those pads. So the idea of that tracking form is at the beginning of a shift, writing down how many $1, what the serial number is on the $1 vouchers, which will be there on the voucher. And then at the end of the shift, what the serial number is on the top. That way you can see, you know, if you started at 000025 at the beginning of the shift with your $1 vouchers, and then you've given out 20 of them, it would be 00045. So the idea is to fill that out in the beginning of the shift and at the end, and that way we'll be able to know how many $1 vouchers went out and how many $5 vouchers went out. Does that make sense?
It does. So hang on one second, Heather.
Yeah.
You guys, these are, some of the staff have seen the vouchers earlier today.
Okay.
So what she's talking about is these are the $5 vouchers. Obviously, these are $1. These aren't the actual vouchers, so I printed them out and just sort of pretended like we have a serial number here. So at the beginning of your shift, you would literally take, like today is the 22nd. Obviously, we don't have to go through this whole thing, but you know, you put your initials in there, and then I just, for sample, you know, I just did on the $1 voucher 1-1, and then you would say, okay, I've got 1-1 up to 1-4. And then you would fill that in there, and however many you're giving out, that would obviously be able to tell you at the end of the day, you know, the remaining number that you have left. You subtract that out, and that's what you've used. Good. Does that make sense? Nick, does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, so I just sort of pretended like we had serial numbers on these. For example's sake.
Great, thank you. Yep, so it's kind of low tech, but it's an easy way for us to see how many are going out. And your point of sale, your cash register is going to be what tells us how many are coming back in. So we'll go through some mock transactions. Lisa, do you have that behind register retail guide? We'll use that when we go through some transactions.
Yeah, so that is, that's this one here, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that's going to live behind the register. Lisa, I'll let you tell them where it's going to be.
So we'll probably actually tape it, we'll probably rearrange a little bit there and tape it on the boards there. Otherwise, if you guys think it's better, we'll tape it to the actual flat metal part.
Okay.
But my guess is that gets covered sometimes.
Correct.
So my guess is it'd be easier to just keep it on the board there.
Laminate them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you think we could do some mock transactions here, or should we go to a register?
We're
We're
actually,
on a register.
Oh, look at
yeah,
that.
so that's the chaos that's going on around is we are actually at one of our 2 registers.
Great. Can you get a fake basket together of some,
We have it. So you're actually surrounded. Hang on.
yay.
Pam, let me give you your
Yeah, I know. Give me my book.
stuff. So you're actually surrounded by a whole slew of groceries here.
Cool.
So let's pretend like we already filled out our sheet here. This is our little bucket for now. Again, super low tech, where we're gonna store our vouchers. All right, so these are actually our, and so we might actually just have you, maybe I'll just,
Holder.
well, no, because I want you to be kind of doing things, but we need better setup. Yeah, it might actually stay.
I appreciate your patience with this. We envisioned it in person before COVID, so we're making it work.
Oh yeah, well, it's kind of what everybody's doing with everything right now, right?
Yeah.
So you guys can actually see the whole conveyor belt and the register and everything, right?
Yeah.
So we just basically set up like a whole shopping transaction.
Sounds good. So let's do a small transaction, maybe 4 or 5 of those items. It doesn't matter what they are, so long as they're all SNAP eligible. We're going to do an earning example first. This is someone who doesn't have any fresh access bucks that they want to spend that day.
Okay. So Kim, why don't you be our guinea pig? Let somebody else volunteer.
You want me to go?
What I didn't want to happen is happening. The dumpster, the trash can is coming. It's going to be very loud for 2 or 3 minutes. Can you take over for me for like a minute or 2?
Absolutely. I hate to tell you this, but the guys that mow my lawn also just chose this moment to be here. So
No big
sorry
deal.
about that.
I'm going to mute. It'll be loud for 30 seconds probably.
Okay. All right. So let's do transaction example where we're earning. Is this one we want to do first, Heather? Is just earning only?
Don't ring anything up yet. Take it all back away.
Okay. So for this one, let's do one SNAP eligible item. So let's say.
Hang on. I'm going to bring you closer.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So let's do maybe the cranberry juice and your pasta and 2 pieces of produce. So let's do, or sorry, one piece of produce. So there you go.
I did rambutan.
Beautiful. Okay. So before ringing up any of the items, the first thing you'll want to ask is if the customer is going to be using any coupons or any fresh access bucks today. And so in this instance, they're just earning. So they're going to say, no, I don't have any to use today.
Okay.
So then you would ring up the 3 items.
Yep.
Okay.
Your
And
total is $4.67.
okay, $4.67. All right. So then the customer is going to pay with SNAP EBT.
Correct.
All right.
Sorry, got it.
Here's your EBT
Thank you.
card.
EBT card, you swipe, you do the whole transaction, you give them their receipt, and after they receive their receipt, at that point you're going to distribute out the Fresh Access bucks to them. So based on what they have there, they've paid $4.67 in SNAP, so they're going to receive $4 in vouchers.
Hopefully there's $4. I think there should be $4. Thank you. Wow, this is amazing.
Yay!
Or for your next shopping trip, ma'am, to use the next time you come shopping in Sunflower Market for your fresh vegetables.
Perfect. Yay. And then you'll also want to give them one of the shopping guides as well.
Oh.
Do you have any of those printed off? The shopping guide.
Oh, wait a minute. Actually, yeah, I think I did. Hang on.
Okay. And this is such a great tool because the shopping guide has, if they ask how it works, this really shows them exactly how the program works so that they'll know the next time they come in, they can use that voucher.
Yeah, so I don't think I printed off the shopping guide. I printed off the thing
That's it.
that hangs on the, is that the?
That's the shopping guide.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. I thought there was something that was more complicated. No.
Yes.
Okay, so then they would get this too.
They would get that too, and that shows them that they are gonna swipe with their card. When they use SNAP, they're gonna get the vouchers, and then on their next visit, and they could come right back into line if they wanted to, and they can use those vouchers on fresh fruits and veggies.
Perfect.
Okay, now here's the question I have.
Yes.
All right, we do not have a scanning system. It's
Okay.
all manual, okay? So you come through my checkout, you have, like today, you have $4.67 in produce. You're gonna give me $5, and I'm putting that in as $5 under the FAB, right?
Well, hang on one second. So Kim, let's hold off on questions and go through the training first.
Okay.
And then some of that might be addressed in the training. And then afterwards, we'll go through some of the questions that we kind of discovered when we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, because so I think what you're asking there is you're asking about the redeeming, like what happens when they redeem the vouchers.
Right.
And
So I assume that'll come next.
this one, we just started off with earning. And so as long as they're using their SNAP dollars, you would just look at the receipt and see how much they spent specifically on SNAP, and you're going to give them that much in the vouchers. It's always going to be rounded down. So if it's $4.67 in SNAP, because they only come in $1 and $5 increments, you would round down to the next whole dollar.
Okay, so they only get $4. It doesn't round up to $5 to give them the next.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha there.
So $4.01 is $4. $4.99 is $4.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Okay. And hopefully it's not, but yeah, anyway. All right. So then you give them their shopping guide and you give them their vouchers, and then they can come back in and use them. So
right.
let's try a redeeming only. Heather, you're back. Do you want to do the redemption?
I'm back. The
All right.
trash
Who wants to do
is
redemption?
out.
Hold
Come on, volunteer people. What?
I said we're only gonna switch.
Hang on one second. What are you switching? You can just subtotal it out. I know. Well, I'll do it. All right. Good job, Kylie. Way to volunteer. Take one for the team. Jeez. All right.
Thanks, Kylie.
It's like in school when the teacher's pulling teeth to get them to volunteer. All
So,
right.
Lisa, are you our customer?
Sure, I'll be the customer.
Do you have some fresh access bucks that you can
I
spend?
do. So, good afternoon.
Hi there, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
All
So
right.
Let's do a basket that has at least 2 different produce items and then a couple SNAP eligible items that aren't produce.
Okay. And so, Kylie, you're going to start out by, hang on. Obviously, it won't be this. Hang on. Give me my produce back. Jeez. Pushy cashiers. Okay, so we're doing what again, Heather?
A basket that has at least 2 produce items that are different. So
Okay.
maybe that big squash and the berries, and then two or 3 SNAP items that aren't
All
produce.
right. Okay, so let's do, okay. So, fill the pepper. All right, so here you go, Kylie.
And before we scan, we'll ask if they have any coupons or fresh access bucks they're spending that day.
Do you have any coupons or fresh access?
I do.
So
Now,
if they are using fresh access bucks, and I think this is going to answer Kim's question, have them put the produce up front because we want to get that produce total without getting any of the SNAP stuff in.
I should bring up the produce now.
so yeah, so I'm answering, yes, I do have fresh access bucks today. And you're gonna say, okay, well, can you hand me your produce first? I'd be happy to. We have these lovely bananas that are grown here in North Fort Myers.
Cool.
Okay.
Great. And let her know what that produce total is.
It's $3.17.
$3.17. Okay, I have my fresh access bucks here.
So if you have 4 fresh access bucks, that
Right.
will cover your total for that produce because we can't do the exact change. You'll have to pay $4 rather than 3.
Right. So I'm the customer and I say, okay, can I give you $3 in fresh access bucks and then just give you the other 17 cents?
That's an option.
That is an
Oh,
option.
I thought that wasn't an option.
So
that is
is
an option?
yeah, so that is an option. So they can pay, even if they have 1 fresh access buck, they could pay $1. So if they have 4 and
Okay.
they want to save that $1, they can give you $3, and that 17 can then just be added on to the rest of the total at the end that they'll pay with SNAP or credit debit.
Okay, and so that's going to come into some of the questions that we probably have, but let's roll with it for a minute. So, okay, so I'm giving you 3 fresh access bucks dollars and 17 cents.
But I figured it out.
Hang on one second. So you're going to do on here, you're going to do $3 FAB, that key right there. And then in this case, you would do 17 cents cash. And go ahead and do it. We're screwing up the drawer. We're just going to Z it out and throw away the Z. It's fine. Everybody's very hesitant to be messing up their drawer. It feels weird. Okay.
You're all set.
And
And
then go
so-
ahead and put those fresh access bucks in that box that y'all had made up.
So then that would go in there.
Okay.
All right. So Kim, what did you figure out?
I figured out that since they're just gonna be, like, if it was $3.17, they're gonna give me the $3 in the fab money. And then I can just continue on with the order, and at the end of the order, I can type in the $3 fab, and that way the 17 cents is still in with the whole order.
Right.
So I will just hold on to those fab bucks until the complete end, enter that first, and then do the EBT card.
Right. So that's the thing that we were talking about earlier. And right. It's sunk in now.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. I got it.
Thanks a lot. Feel the love, boss.
Well, see, that's why we're doing this, so that as you're ringing up examples, all these things will kind of sink in and it'll make sense.
Yeah, so
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead and finish bringing up the order, and let's pretend that they don't want to use their SNAP on the rest. They just use cash or credit debit on, the rest of their order.
Okay.
I'm putting these in too.
So in this instance, Heather, she just cashed out because I gave her the 17 cents. She just went ahead and cashed it out. So we're starting a new order now.
Okay.
Okay, your total is $9.45.
And so, so then in that case, she would get no money because she's not using her EBT.
Yeah, so we're doing a redeeming only one, and then this next transaction we'll do earning and redeeming together.
So I'm wondering, Lisa, in this instance, if someone, the $3.17 and they pay $3 in the voucher, is it possible for them, do they have to close out the transaction with the 17 cents before they finish the rest of the rest of the transaction? Do they have to start a new transaction for everything else that's on the
Right.
conveyor belt?
So they don't, with the question that we have. Okay, so if we have, we came up with some scenarios earlier that we were a little bit perplexed on, so I'm just trying to recreate that scenario.
That's what I just tried to fine.
Right. No, I know. So the answer to your question is no. And in fact, we had some confusion on it earlier, but I think, and I think we just do a few transactions and see how it goes, but I think that it's actually going to be much, much easier for them to not close out the transaction at the end for a couple of different reasons. I'm just trying to kind of Rolodex in my head that if they wanted to, yeah, I think that'll work out fine. As long as we do the produce first, the cashier says, okay, that's going to be $3 in Fresh Access bucks. And then you get those $3 in Fresh Access bucks. Or you say it's going to be $3 in Fresh Access bucks and they say, I only have 2. And you take the $2 in Fresh Access bucks so that you don't forget how much you need to get from them. And then you continue on your order. And when you go to pay, you're just going to need to remember that you are going to make 2 different transaction payments. Does that make sense? So you're going to do $2 Fresh Access bucks, and you'll have those sitting in front of you, so you won't have to then go back and scan through and try to remember how much produce money you need to get from them. So it'll just be a matter of really being good about remembering to say at that point, okay, I need the $3 in Fresh Access bucks coupons from you. So yeah, I think that works well.
Good. Thanks for helping us find a solution there. So let's do a more complicated one where we're both earning and redeeming. So the
All right,
best.
Hayden, you're up.
I delete this.
No, you can just close it out. You're fine. So however you want to close it out. There you go. Is it done? It's good for you.
0.
So we'll do a similar basket, at least 2 produce items and a couple SNAP eligible items. And let's make this so complicated. Let's throw a non-SNAP eligible in there.
Whoa. All right.
Because I'm sure that happens, right? That's a normal order. Someone comes in for
sure.
produce, pasta, and some paper towels.
All right. So back my nanners there. All right. So okay. So here we've got a transaction here.
Great. So let's ask if she's using any coupons or Fresh Access bucks today.
I are using, what are they called?
Fresh Access bucks.
Access bucks.
And you would want to say EBT, SNAP, or because we don't have coupons, otherwise people will get confused. I am, right, Heather? I am, right?
You are, and so she'll ask you to ring up the produce first. So the customer can put the produce up front.
Okay. So, okay, here you go. Here you go. Sure.
So we'll get the total of that produce.
Hey, can you throw a card around there so she's got something to put all this into?
Are you all set?
Yeah.
$13.59 for the produce.
Okay, but you're gonna say it's how much in Fresh Access bucks? Good. All right.
So what was that total, Lisa? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
$14 in Fresh Access bucks coupons.
So there's $14 eligible in Fresh Access bucks. Let's say you don't have all $14, and so give her 10. So maybe 2 5s.
I have $10. Yeah. All right, so hit the C. So hang on. because now we're going to continue on, right?
Yep, so continue on with scanning.
Yeah. Okay. Now, wait a minute, because, yeah, exactly. So that, we run it separate. Okay, so now the total is 2601.
Is
But
that
you're not-
including the non-SNAP or is that SNAP only?
No, so we ring up our non-SNAP separately.
Okay. So with the
Um,
2601, you'll remove that $10 in fresh access bucks. Is that the right time to do that right now, Lisa?
Hang on 1 second. So before you tell the customer how much it's going to be, you're going to now, because otherwise it'll confuse the customer, you're going to now enter in your fresh access bucks. So you'll do your $10 fab. There you go. And then you'll tell the customers, and we'll probably work on some sort of verbiage, that says, after redeeming your fresh access bucks, your remaining total is 1601. How would you like to pay for that today, or something along those lines. Okay, so the remaining balance is 1601.
And that is EBT items only?
That is EBT items
Okay.
only.
And so go ahead and use your EBT to pay for that.
Okay, so my EBT here. Okay, and so then you're gonna close that out to credit. And then you end up bringing that up. So, sorry, hang on 1 quick second, Fab team. So Kim, if they've got mixed EBT and SNAP, or non-SNAP, do you
Sure.
always create 2 separate transactions?
Do I? Yes. You have.
Because otherwise, well, so there technically is, but there technically is, but I just want to see if everybody's doing it that way. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think we kind of forbade the mental math. Okay. So yes, just wanted to clarify that everybody was doing things the same way. So continue on. So then, yeah, so then they would actually ring up the non-SNAP items completely separate. There's a way to do it otherwise, but it's more prone to human error. And so nobody here is doing it that way. So that's good.
Great. So you've charged them for their SNAP, which was 1601. So
Yeah.
they'll get that 1-for-1 match, but it's only up to $10. So
Yeah.
they'll get either 2 5s of the fresh access bucks or a 5 and 5 1s.
Yep. So we had a question that came in on that too, that I think that I should know the answer to, and I think that I do know the answer to, but we want to all confirm together. So if Haven gives me 2 $5 vouchers, and the next time I come in, I'm using $7 worth of Fab coupons, is she going to give me $3 in Fab coupons back?
Unfortunately not. That's why I think it might be good to give folks a 5 and 5 1s. Because with the system that we have for tracking,
Yes.
making change is going to make things complicated.
Right. So then the question that came in earlier is, and I guess, it's funny, the question that came in earlier is, would you normally find that this happens? But I'm guessing you probably don't normally find that it happens because we're brand new at this. So what we foresee as a possibility is that customers will end up only wanting $1 vouchers and not $5 vouchers. Have you anticipated that? And what is your thought on that? Are they required to get a 5 and 5 1s? Can they request 10 1s?
Katie, what are your thoughts? If I was a customer, I'd want only 1s because I wouldn't want to lose any of my benefit.
I would agree with that. I think absolutely giving out the ones. We wanted to give the $5 as an option because, you know, people can continue accruing those dollars just because they're able to use the Fresh Access Bucks. Let's say, you know, their total comes to $14 and they might have $14 in FAB. They might say, you know, I'd rather hold on to my vouchers and then I'm going to spend with SNAP again and I'm going to earn more. So they can, you know, end up with a good bunch of coupons that they can then redeem at a later date. So we wanted to give the option to be able to have, you know, $5 vouchers as well in case people are kind of like, you know, keeping them stacked up. But if it was me as well, I would probably go with the ones. And because this is kind of an experiment, you know, we want to see what you all are experiencing. And if you say like customers only want the $1 vouchers, then let's just go to the $1 vouchers. You know, we have the $5 as an option, but that doesn't mean we have to stick with the $5 vouchers if you think that most customers are going to want the $1.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Or possibly in the future, is there a thought process in place that may look at changing it to say they're just all $2 vouchers, or they're all, you know, something along those lines? I'm more now just sort of, since this is a new program, we're just sort of throwing ideas back at you guys to think about, depending on what the results would be.
More than likely what we would probably be more interested in doing is if the technology becomes available with your point of sale system, would be to do away with the vouchers altogether and do some sort of loyalty system where, or even if your POS system was able to print out the amount on the bottom of the coupon, then it could literally do a dollar for dollar, cent for cent match at that point in time. But because they're pre-printed, it really, we are kind of stuck with this rounding down situation, which is not ideal by any means. But I think eventually it would be really great if we could get to a point where, you know, the person has a card and they scan it in, or that your point of sale system is able to print on the receipts and says like, hey, you spent this much in SNAP. This is how much you're going to get, this exact same amount in Fresh Access Bucks.
Right. Yeah, and I don't. We can talk more about this later. I don't want to get bogged down in it now, but just as a placeholder, I will mention that thanks to the wildfires, our point of sale system that was supposed to be brought in here got delayed even further. But now, as it turns out, it'll actually be implemented in the new store previous to this store. So we'll be opening in a couple weeks the new store with that POS system in place. And it should give us the capability to play around with that. And it should already be set up to be able to do those things.
Wow.
And bring that into here with the, you know, kinks already worked out, hopefully. So
yeah. Well, then this is definitely like the early stages of, you know, we've got to stick with the vouchers for now, but I say, you know, use your instincts and, you know, if you're seeing, especially with folks that have the amount of produce that they typically have in a basket size, you know, how much are they really spending on average? If they're spending $5 or less at a time on fresh produce, definitely give them the ones, you know, but yeah, because we just aren't able to break those $5 coupons because we're tracking those numbers. It would really mess up all of that system. So,
okay.
But hopefully it becomes more streamlined as we move along.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think we ended up using the computers that were slated for the store up at the new store.
Cool.
But then it should only be a couple more weeks until the computer systems go in here. But of course, you know, it's been a little tricky thus far. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Do y'all have any other questions for us as well about how all of this works?
I just wanted to real quick go over with everybody. So we're talking about fresh produce. So canned, you know, vegetables are not, because these are probably questions that we'll get from customers. Canned vegetables or fruits aren't, you know, can't be used for that. What about, and I think I know the answer to this, but just for everybody here, let's confirm. So we don't do a lot of it, but pre-cut fruit is eligible, right?
Correct.
Not once you've added like syrups to it, like not like the Dole cups.
Yeah, like a pre-cut, you know, container of watermelon a-okay. We consider that fresh produce. Like a salad bag that has just lettuce, good. A salad bag that has dressing and croutons and, you know, I don't know what else you put in a pre-made salad bag, that's not eligible because it's, you know, adding those non-fruit and vegetable items.
And so, so like the grapefruit cups that we get in, no. What about, we have not gotten them in here thus far, but it's something that we may begin getting in. And it sounds like it would fall under the salad bag category, but what about, well, I guess two things. Number one, what about the salads that we make from our deli? That's not eligible, right? Because it's got ham and cheese and tomatoes and cucumbers added.
Yeah,
Right.
so those would not be eligible.
Okay, so anything that's basically like value add, or not value added, but prep work added. Would not be.
Juices, smoothies, those kinds of things. Even if it's like blended, it's a USDA rule.
Sure.
And that really it is as minimally processed as possible is what's considered to be eligible for the program.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be something else that's really important to go over because I really think, you know, you probably might get some pushback from folks. Number one, from people who don't have EBT, that might say, hey, why is this program not eligible? You know, why am I not eligible for it? And so we've included some information about that in our FAQs document that I think it's really good to keep on hand, just to explain to folks that the program is funded through the a USDA grant that has very specific guidelines, federal guidelines, and that is really only eligible to folks that are on SNAP EBT or with PSNAP. You may get questions about that. You may also get questions about, well, why can't I buy, you know, canned fruits and vegetables or frozen fruits and vegetables? And you could say the same thing, that it is a federally funded program that has very specific guidelines. And this is how it was written. The grant was specifically written was to be an allowance for fresh fruits and vegetables only.
A couple of other random questions that I've just heard is sort of mentioning this to people. We do get a lot of people from out of state. And so I've actually had somebody ask, you know, okay, if this is a federally funded grant, is this going to be available in my state as well? Do you have any information about what other states might be working under the same grant or other places that people might see this program?
Yeah, there are a lot of other states that have a program similar to this. Not all of them do, but most states have a similar double up SNAP program. And I would just recommend that they visit their own, you know, look online for their own state's eligibility. But with that in mind, if they come in and they have an EBT card from out of state, they are absolutely able to participate in this program. So if they come in from Michigan, Wisconsin, Texas, Georgia, wherever, and they've got a SNAP card, they are absolutely eligible to use this program.
That's a good thing to hit on. Do you see many out-of-state EBT
Yes.
cards?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
I was gonna say, especially in Florida. you know.
Yeah, I get so many people traveling. Are you ready? They can take you right over here. Sorry.
We're in class.
Yeah, we're learning. Every day's a school day.
I'm the oldest out of everybody, and I'm still learning.
What other questions do you all have, if any?
That was actually my question. Is it different kind of SNAP cards? Are they all eligible with
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't able to hear that one.
He was saying that actually was his question about other state SNAP cards and whether they could use those as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you already hit on that.
All right,
Do you
what
have,
if-
do you
what
have
if
anybody that uses PSNAP cards, by the way? Anybody that's using PEBT coming into the store?
Yes,
Are
we've
those
had
the student
those.
cards
Yeah.
that just came out? The
Yeah.
student Lee County cards?
Yes, but a lot of them are already empty.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll call
Okay.
them, that's my free money.
If you do have someone that comes in with a PEBT card, they're also eligible for this program as well.
Okay.
Okay. Gotcha.
There's a couple things I wanted to hit on, and I think we talked about a few of them, but just that customers can earn up to $10 in fresh access bucks in a single transaction, but they can do multiple transactions in a day, in a week. We aren't policing how many times a customer comes through your lane to earn fresh access bucks. You know, it's just based on how much SNAP they spend in that transaction. But there is not a limit on how much they can spend in their fresh access bucks in one transaction. You know, if they have $25 compiled in fresh access bucks that they've been saving for blueberry season, you know, they can use all 25 of those dollars.
Right.
They can also redeem their fresh access bucks even if they aren't doing a SNAP transaction. It could be a total cash transaction with some fresh fruits and vegetables, and they can use their fresh access bucks. They don't need to do a SNAP transaction in order to redeem their fresh access bucks.
And there's no onus on us to ensure that the person that's handing us those FAB coupons are the people that we gave them out to, right?
That's
So
correct.
if I get them out, I can give them to Kim and
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And similar in with SNAP, that you don't ask the person for their ID. I could buy, if I'm not SNAP eligible, I could buy my grandmother food with SNAP with her card. That's okay. We're not, no need to make sure that the, you know, the coupon came from the person. You're not tracing it back to that transaction. But keep an eye out, you know, you'll know the texture of the paper that they're coming on and the size. If anything looks photocopied, we trust you to handle that.
right. Okay. And we did just have somebody ask real quick, and it seems like we know the answer to this, but the so frozen berries that are no sugar added, no, you know, not processed or anything like that, but are say like frozen raspberries, those are eligible, correct?
Those are not. No, they have to be fresh.
Okay.
What about the berries that we were getting that were fresh? Like the pears and the raspberries?
Produce,
Those would be
clamshell,
Yeah.
blueberries.
Clamshell, yep. hmm
Okay,
refrigerated, fine. Frozen, no. Okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm coming in and I'm gonna shop. I lost $4. How do I get my $4 back?
That's a good question. Katie, what do you say? I say that stinks.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like what happens if you lost $4 in American dollars. It would be that money is gone. Like
Yeah,
there's really no way to track it because we're not tracking individual transactions. We're not doing anonymous IDs or anything like that. We can't tell, you know, who has been given some before and who hasn't. I would recommend people treat it just like they do cash. As soon as you give it to them, that is like cash.
Okay,
Mhm.
And it's the same size as a bill. We're intentional about making them so that they can fit, you know, if someone's got a wallet where they're putting cash, they'll have space for the voucher.
Okay. Really nice children.
Are there any other questions? Thanks for getting everybody together, and you've come up with some questions that we hadn't thought of, so this has been really helpful.
Other questions, thoughts,
Bree?
concerns?
Any questions? I'll talk to you.
We'll go over. It's actually recorded as well, so we can watch it. Yeah, that was good. She actually ended up having to be on the register quite a lot, and so she missed most of this, but she'll be able to rewatch it. So that was a really great idea to put this, you know, out there recorded.
Yeah, I'll send you the recording, and we're not evaporating into thin air. If questions come up, you know, you have both of our phone numbers. You can text us or you can email us. We'll be happy to do, you know, a check-in call as things start moving on once you get your promo materials too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that Megan's working on the press release now, and Megan, do you have any updates on the promo materials?
No, we sent them